around 4:50, and I'm calling this Human Resources Committee to order. We have a quorum of members present in the chamber. Number one is Human Resources Report for August 2025. It's in your packet. Any questions for our HR Director? If not, we'll put that on file. Number two is discussion and possible action approving 2026 and 2027 health, dental, and supplemental insurance plan inclusion of CCIT.
Since 2012, the City of Wausau has included CCITC in our benefit package renewals, and we received confirmation from Jerry that they were going to wish to piggyback with us again for the next 2 years.
Any questions on that item? If not, I'll take a motion to accept. Motion by Killian, second by Martins. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Discussion of possible action approving 2026 benefit design for city and CCIT employees.
We did go to market and received 2 bids for our insurance renewal, and at the risk of it being extremely inconvenient to staff, we decided to go with our current service, which is the Aspirus plan. And the 9.5% increase is what was promised to us last year, and that's what's being given to us again this year. So there will be no material changes at all to coverage, to providers, to anything, so no inconveniences for our staff. And the outline is there if you have any questions, but plan coverage is the same with the 9.5% as projected from last year.
Any questions?
Sorry, when I was reading through this, I see that the employees pay 12% of the premium, and then the city covers the rest, and it looks like that's in the handbook, and I know it was that way last year. Have we ever thought of changing that? Because that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, well, that's outlined as a minimum contribution, and that's actually a question that we've posed to the state, and we're waiting on a reply back because there's certain situations that we're curious about where that's not the case. But as far as it goes, that's already outlined for us as far as what that contribution has to be.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, with the cost of insurance skyrocketing every year, if we ever take a look at that and say, you know, this has been a lot of money for the city to
absorb. Yeah.
Yeah, every year, and, you know, we might have to bump you guys up a little bit. I know most employers are, so, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, otherwise I'll take a motion to accept the 2026 benefit design. Motion by Tierney, second by Killian. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Discussion of possible action amending the Employee Handbook, Section 5.15, clothing and equipment.
Employees are afforded a 50% reimbursement of their safety boots, up to $125 for reimbursement cost. And the desire is for the reimbursement to be a flat $125 instead of the 50% up to. And although it's just semantics, it does allow workers to get the boots that they would like and get that $125 reimbursement regardless of cost.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Asking us to just write a check for $125 changes the theme of what we're proposing. We're proposing that we will pay 50% of what they pay, and that doesn't inhibit them from getting the boots that they want. But I don't believe that we should just be writing a check. I believe that whatever their cost is, they should present an invoice to us and we will provide the 50%, because I think by changing this policy like that, that might preclude us to having problems with other policies. For example, if we say, we'll pay 50% of your education for this office, and it's $2,000, and they say, well, you wrote a check for this for them, so why not do that for us? I think as a good business practice, we need to maintain the theme of the policy and just provide 50% of whatever they purchase.
Do you have anything to add to this? It was approved up through the DPW director.
Yeah, what the thought behind it wasn't that we would just give them the flat amount. They still have to bring a receipt. The goal would be that instead of, so what happens now is guys will either buy multiple sets of boots, one pair of boots, whatever it is, we have to calculate half the value, and that's what they get. The goal behind this is to give the freedom for the people that want to buy just one pair of boots. They still got to bring us a receipt. We would reimburse that, but what it would do is basically allow the employees to buy that pair of boots, get the full reimbursement for it, and so it'll help them with not having to buy multiple pairs of boots or whatever to get their full reimbursement. Where if they can get by with one pair, it'll help them save money by not having to buy that second pair. But basically try to help the staff out without increasing how much the city is going to end up having to pay in the long run.
I guess I don't fully understand that concept, but I'll leave this up to other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is, so we're paying this money up front, correct? This 125?
No.
Okay, so they have to bring in a receipt like they do now,
Yep.
I'm imagining?
Yes.
And they bring in a receipt that they bought a pair of boots for $150.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to give them the full 125, or you're going to give them the...
Yes, the
okay.
125.
Okay, I don't think that's a good practice as well. I mean, if they're going out there and they're buying a pair of boots for $150 and they've got to bring in the receipt, why should we cut them a check for $125? What if they don't get another pair of boots? That's money in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's right. That's not what this policy is.
Okay.
I guess I can see how they're trying to get their 125. They're buying 3 pairs of shoes at $80 a piece, and then they have 5 years worth of shoes, and I can just see that being a nightmare to try and manage every year. So I don't see the amount of money that we're probably going to be giving employees changing that much, and this is the way ours is set up at work. So, I mean, we get a voucher for up to $125 at Rogan's or another shoe place. But yeah, this aligns with what the private industry is doing as far as I know. So, thank you.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I'll throw myself into the into the fight here too. I remember was it a couple years ago we increased the reimbursement to $125 because we were finding that most pairs of safety boots were running in the range of $200, $250, $300, and increasing back three years ago, increasing the reimbursement from $100 to $125 made that 50% threshold a little bit more. It fit what the cost is today for approved work boots. It's looking at the rest of the policy here, we're offering a flat rate for tools, for cold weather gear, and for safety eyeglasses. It just stands to reason that we just do a flat rate for work boots too, and then forget this 50% nonsense. So this actually seems more in line with our policy. So I'm gonna go ahead with this.
I have just a couple questions. So they bring in their receipt from Baseman's, Rogan's. I know everybody I helped is always at Rogan's. And then you, staff, I don't know whoever you designate has that. And then if they came back 6 months, you wouldn't get it because you keep track of every year. for
Yes, so like if they bought one pair of boots, they got half of it, but it only turned out to be like $90, whatever. If they had to buy a second pair, they would only get whatever was left out of that 125.
So, and then that would be the same if they had the 125,
Correct. Yep.
then
The
you
twen-
have
the-
to wait a whole year
Yes.
before another
Yep, you only get
reimbursement.
$125 per year. That's
And you have to have a receipt
correct.
that you have the boots.
Yep, and we usually check the receipts. We verify that it says on there that it is a safety boot, and then we check dates and stuff
Right.
to make sure it wasn't an old receipt or something like that.
Good for you. So, like, can you just tell me, is there a specific safety boot? Do you have to have, I know steel toe, but do you have to have the steel that goes over the forefoot? Or is it,
Currently, we just require safety toes, so they make, whether it's steel or they also make composite toes
Right.
that'll meet the safety standards. We don't require Met guards
Yeah.
for our staff. We haven't in the past. So currently, it's just a safety toe that we're
Okay.
looking for.
okay. Any other questions? No? Can I have a motion, Michael?
A second.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, 3-2. Okay. Discussion and possible action approving the reasonable accommodations for pregnant workers policy.
So this follows previous best practice. It just outlines a little more granularly the items which will qualify for an accommodation request. So there's, sitting, extra water available, flexible hours and scheduling, receive additional break time to use for bathrooms, additional eating time, additional resting time. So these are items that are afforded to those who are pregnant underneath the PWFA. So that is outlined in the policy as well as the procedure and the accommodation request that's necessary to ask for these accommodations.
Thank you. Was the purpose of bringing this forward because we'd had a problem, or was this just updating the handbook?
Updating the handbook.
Okay, and I know the relevance and importance of following all federal guidelines, so thank you for doing that.
Any other questions? Otherwise, oh, go ahead.
This policy only, it runs through the, up to the childbirth. So after childbirth, would there be, if there was like complications or something like that, would there be a different type of accommodation or not? Or would that go under FMLA?
FMLA.
or-
Yes.
Okay.
And if there's any short-term disability, which automatically rolls into a long-term disability or whatever might happen for the complication, and accommodations have to be assessed on an individual analysis, so it's hard to give a blanket response to that. But there are protections for their jobs and their time away from work underneath FMLA. And then as far as accommodations go, it goes underneath the ADA.
Okay, so there would be, so if there's accommodation needed after childbirth, there are provisions for that, separate of this?
Legally, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to accept the new policy.
I'll move to accept the
Thank you.
policy.
Second. Second by Killian. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously, and that is the end. A motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay, motion by Killian, second by Tierney. We're adjourned. Thank you.